oppression, and we want to draw attention to the gross violation of human rights by our current regime. We have protested at the King's visits to London for the royal wedding and the Queen's Jubilee because of the vast expense of the cost of him coming to London with about 50 people to sleep in expensive hotels. King Swazi III is Africa's last absolute monarchy and has, at the last count, about 13 wives. He does not represent Swazis. King Swazi was educated at Sherborne Public School in Dorset. We do not know of any other Swazis who have gone to this school, and few Swazis who are fortunate to go to a school that is expensive as this one. This may be a piffling amount when compared to the greed of many African ladies, but Swazis are reduced to eating cow dung so that they can fill their bellies as required for the AIDS medication provided by the NGOs in Africa. The same people who are eating cow dung weed and harvest the king's fields and build his traditional houses and are paid nothing for doing so by the so-rich king after doing so much hard work. My father, he used to do the same thing before he passed away. He used to weed and harvest the king's fields. While back at home, we were hungry and we didn't even have money for buying school fees, and we used to walk to school because we couldn't afford transport for going to school. This kind of behavior by the king, who calls it culture, this is modern day slavery looking at me in the eyes without a blame. The king has recently taken delivery of a DC-9 twin-engine aircraft, claiming it was gifted to him by an anonymous sponsor. Teachers are on the street protesting because they have not been paid for months, and some of them have taken their lives because of the stress that it brings to them for staying for so many months without being paid. Meanwhile, he is enjoying a luxury life instead of giving a future to the young generation or investing into their education. There are no basic drugs in hospitals, and patients, they die prematurely. Women in Swaziland are subjected to the most horrendous level of gender-based violence. If they are raped by their husband, they have no legal protection, and there are no laws against domestic violence. On the rare occasion when a rape case ends up in court, the law even allows the rapist to claim that the victim appears to be 16 or appears to be a prostitute as grounds for defense, or even he married her traditionally. In 2009, research found that almost 1/3 of women and girls under the age of 17 to 24 has experienced sexual violence before their age of 18, but before their 18th birthday. Another survey found that 60% of men believe it was acceptable to beat their wives, and that 18% of women from between the age of 13 to 44 had contemplated suicide, primarily as a result of domestic violence. To see the discrimination faced by girls, you only have to open the newspapers. Recently in the Times of Swaziland, I read comments by the minister saying that the blame for the male teachers sexually abusing young girls in the arcade is down to the length of their skirts and the change in uniform. This can resolve the problem. Young girls in the rural areas are forced by their chiefs to attend the infamous reed dance, where they dance before the king, wearing very short skirts so that the king can pick a bride. This event, which attracts thousands of tourists, is not only notorious for abuse of girls, it's during which she must wear black and is not allowed to show herself in public places. So you can do